So Jay,
Mm-hmm.
how's it going?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Got some diarrhea.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's. Did you take anything?
You know, I haven't yet.
I went straight to how do I solve this problem for you, Brandon?
I just want you to listen. I don't want you to solve all my problems.
I
Just
don't-
listen
I
to
don't-
my-
I don't,
my-
I don't want to be in your poopy car.
Okay, I want you to just listen to my diarrhea problems. I don't want you to have to solve them.
No part of that sounds fun for me.
Okay, well,
Not the hearing about it or being around it or solving it.
I'm sorry I brought it up. I'll just be quiet.
I am too.
I'll just be quiet.
I am too.
Where'd you grow up, Jay?
I grew up in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, a small town, smallish town called Eagan, like 15 minutes. My high school was not super diverse.
Yeah.
It was 6% black, so I was one of a few. I could do the math, but I'm not going to. There weren't very many people around that looked like me.
Was it just a sea of white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely a sea of white.
Yeah, it was like an avalanche.
Yeah, so you could see us like across the school, be like, oh, those are the black guys.
It's like Where's Waldo?
Seriously.
But like the easiest Where's Waldo.
The easiest one ever.
I'm assuming it felt kind of odd, you know?
Well, it didn't feel odd to me until people made it feel odd.
Did the white kids make it feel
The
odd?
white, yeah. Like to me, I was just growing up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where I lived,
Yeah.
and where my friends were.
Mm-hmm.
But to all the other kids, I was the black kid,
Yeah.
which was like, I never thought of it that way.
You just thought of it like I live in
I
Minnesota.
just live here.
Yeah.
And I'm just in school. But it was interesting when you're the extreme minority like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a topic of conversation that people enjoy bringing up.
Yeah.
Especially when there's not a lot of diversity. They think that your color is a topic of conversation.
Well, I mean, because they think the way to make you comfortable is by acknowledging it. I don't even know. That's a weird.
It's so weird, man. It's so weird. Like, what are you gonna get?
Oh, I'm gonna get probably just a cafe americano with 2 pumps of vanilla.
Did you say bumps?
Two
Pumps.
I said pumps. I think I said pumps.
I think you said bumps.
2 bumps of vanilla.
Let me get 2 bumps of vanilla.
Like at the club. Hello.
Hi, welcome to Suburbs. What can I answer for you?
Could I get a cafe americano, please? Tall with 2 pumps of vanilla.
Hot or iced?
Hot, please. And
A regular coffee with a shot of espresso.
a regular coffee with a shot of espresso.
Hot coffee or iced coffee?
Hot.
Hot.
Who's drinking?
No snack time, no cream, no sugar?
No cream, no sugar.
Anything else for you today?
That's gonna do it.
Great, that's fine, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Almost just yelled while she was still on. Who's drinking iced coffee right now? It's pouring rain. It is pouring outside.
A masochist.
Seriously.
I don't know. There's people that get ice cream in Antarctica, you know?
I mean, I get that because ice cream is just good for your soul.
Yeah,
And it is a thing that I would want for comfort
sure.
while I was evading polar bears.
Building an igloo.
Everything about this sucks.
After I go-
Let me get my B&Js.
So you grew up in
Yeah.
Minnesota.
So I grew up in Minnesota. You were saying that it seems like they were maybe trying to, like, as an olive branch,
Yeah.
like, well, I don't know you at all, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. You're black. And
Oh, thanks, man. That makes me feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for welcoming me.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks for making that the topic of discussion.
Growing up, like, I remember it was like late elementary school, early middle school.
I said, thanks for making that the topic of discussion when that's the topic of discussion. Oh my God.
Oh man, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Like late elementary school, early middle school was when, for me, the kids started realizing that I was different.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them were like, hey, you're you're supposed to be more different than you are from us. Basically. It's like, black people are supposed to rap and play basketball.
Sure.
And talk different and dress different. And
Yeah.
you don't do that, Jay, so you're not black.
So they just called you not black?
They called me an Oreo, like, every day.
What?
Every day.
Because you didn't act a certain way.
Because I didn't act black enough for the white kids. It's like, are
Jesus
you kidding?
Christ.
But there's this one kid, a couple kids, that every single day we would just battle about my blackness every day.
Were the other kids white kids?
Yeah. And every day I was just like, well, why is this an issue?
Yeah.
Why is it a problem for you guys that I'm not a certain way?
I guess they just have, I don't know, it just must be because they're so, like, they come from such a small town, so their idea
of what it means to be black came 100% from TV and movies.
Totally.
Because that was what they were exposed to. Other than, there was, like, most of the black kids that I went to school with lived in, we had a small project called Westcott.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
yeah.
was...
Hi. Yeah, you got it.
I Venmo you?
No, it's alright, man, I got it.
Thanks, man.
No worries.
Take me on a coffee date.
No, thank you. When you're talking about your life story with me, the least I can do is buy you a cup of coffee.
That's, I appreciate it.
That's fair. What are you drinking, by the way?
Tea.
Coffee and tea, huh?
Yeah. This is for my voice, and this will be for my brain.
You're like a coffee bean.
Ha ha!
Man, I just love comedy and making jokes, you know?
You're good at it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, of course.
What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about Westcott.
Yeah.
So, it was kind of like the hood of my suburb, and interestingly, in like high school, a lot of the black kids that I went to school with kind of I don't know if it was a conscious decision, but they started fulfilling those stereotypes more.
Sure.
So the divide got even greater between where I was and what everybody thought I should be. And man, it was crazy because it felt to me like the only way that I could be black enough for these people is if I was sagging my pants every day and rapping down the hallway and getting in fights and playing basketball and doing terrible in school.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like, why are these the qualifications for my blackness?
Yeah.
I'm just a kid.
Yeah.
I was just a kid. And man, I had to fight that battle every day. Man, I made this argument so many times. I was like, yo, if somebody came to our school with a gun today and said, I'm gonna kill all the black kids.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm black that day. I'm black. All day long you can say, you're not black, you're not black, you're not black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at me.
Yeah.
That's all that it means. And that for some reason that was not, people couldn't get it through their heads. And what's crazy is that growing up, I always thought that I was doing it wrong.
Sure.
Right? Like I was having these battles every day, but then I would go home and be like, well, maybe I am. Like, maybe I am supposed to be a certain way. Maybe
Sure.
and I'm just doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And that's so messed up.
Yeah, totally.
That's so messed up that everybody already has identity issues growing up. But I was like, am I doing my race wrong?
Yeah.
Like, am I supposed to be a better black person than I am? Like, what does that mean? Through college even, because I went to college in Minnesota. Through college, I still had this idea that there was this certain way that you were supposed to be black.
Sure.
Right? Just because that just got beat into me over and over and over. And it wasn't really until I moved to Los Angeles that I was like, oh, there's all different kinds of black people.
Yeah.
There's black nerds. There's like black scientists and black, like just like every other race of people.
Yeah.
There's all different kinds of black people. So I was like, oh, I do fit into this community because this community is just made up of people that look like me.
Totally.
No matter what they're like.
Yeah.
You know? And like that was a dope realization, but it was so sad that it took until I was in my 20s to really fully digest that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going back to high school. All your friends then were white.
Most of them.
Okay.
Most of them.
Yeah.
I had a few black friends.
Would they do the typical thing of, like you said, like when they're talking to you, do they feel a need to talk about certain things? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, do they think that they need to?
Not my friends.
Not your friends, but other people.
Other people all the time.
Okay. Like, what are those things?
Oh, man.
Hey, man, you listen to the new Lil Wayne album?
No, seriously, stuff like that.
Stuff like that?
Stuff like that.
Crazy.
I mean, this is something that just happened to me fairly recently.
Yeah.
I can just use it as an example.
Yeah.
I met some friends of friends, and who happened to be from Minnesota. We weren't in Minnesota at the time, but these people were from Minnesota. And this girl who I'm talking to, just out of nowhere, was like, "Oh, hey, there's this really good soul food restaurant. Like, I don't know if like I could go there like by myself, but." You know, and go and order my grits and my fried chicken and blah, 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 but like, you should go. And I was like,
yeah.
What are we talking about? We weren't talking about...
We were talking about sports.
Yeah, and then now you're talking about soul food to me?
Yeah.
Because why? Would you be having this conversation with a black person or with a white person?
Yeah.
No, you decided to bring that up. Yeah, right?
Yeah, with a Mexican. You know, there's this great
soul food place. And it'd be stuff like that, where I think that what you were saying earlier with, like, I feel like they're extending an olive branch. That was her trying to have a conversation with me. But for some reason, there are people that I guess don't know how to have a conversation.
That's so fucking weird.
Isn't it?
They don't know how to talk.
Yeah, about anything other than...
Okay, let's just get the elephant out of the room.
Hey,
you're black.
You're black.
Yeah, all right.
And now we gotta discuss black stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny what people think black stuff is.
Yeah. Like what, soul food?
Yeah, y'all want to, if you want to talk about like systemic racism, then cool. Let's tackle that topic.
Sure.
But, cause that is a real black issue.
Yeah.
Right?
But if you want to talk about if Big Mama's House 2 was really as good as the first one, then maybe let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
So you rap, right?
When's your album coming out, man?
Dude.
Yeah, that's just crazy to me because I also grew up my high school was predominantly white, more Mexican than white.
Okay.
But pretty white suburban high school. And we had, I think, 3 black kids in our school.
Wow.
And it was like, dude, I don't know if it was like this for you, but the racism in my school was super secret and really disturbing.
How was it secret?
It was secret in the sense of like the black kid would walk across and like the popular kids at school would literally be like, oh my God, like actually no, they would be more like, oh, look at that fucking racial slur.
Seriously?
Yeah. And they would just say it so casually and I was like, what is and this was like the most popular kids at school would say this shit.
Dude.
At the popular table. And
That's
it's
nuts.
And then it's like they say it and then it's like, oh, anyways, Becky, like so I was thinking about going to Starbucks after that. Like
it's nuts, but it's like unsurprising.
Yeah. I just was so blown away by it. I was like, wait, like what?
Yeah.
Why would you say that? I mean, I don't know. It's just like it's very secret for I think that's the thing is racism is secret for a lot of white people in general, but young white people too.
Well, I guess what's your definition of secret though? Who do they feel safe being racist around? Other white people?
Yeah, I'd say so. Or
I
like
mean,
their friends.
Yeah, and for some reason the white kids in my school felt okay being racist around me, which in retrospect, I'm glad that I went through all of that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad because
A,
I have stand-up material for the rest of my life, and B, it really gave me a sense of identity. I had to fight for my identity every single day. I did this thing called speech and debate. You know, are you familiar with that at all? And at the very end of my senior year, like wrote this piece. It was like a 10-minute performance called Blacked into a Corner. And I won the state championship with it, and it was all about this kid who everyone told him he wasn't black enough, and he like had a it was like Cinderella. It was kind of a Cinderella spoof, and he was trying to win a dance battle, and then the judge was like, "Sorry, you're not black enough," and he was like, "Dang it, I just wish I was a little blacker." And then he has like these 3 fairy godparents basically come through in the night and like help him be blacker. And at the end of it, he realizes that, you know, you don't have to be a certain way because you look a certain way. That being black doesn't mean you have to dress a certain way or talk a certain way or be a certain way. It means you can be whatever you want, because those are the freedoms that we fought for.
Yeah.
Like, people literally died, gave their lives so that black people in this country could be whatever they want to be. So putting it in a box is the opposite. And you know what is funny about my high school experience? I got ostracized by both sides.
Totally.
So the black kids ostracized me too, because I wasn't like them. And they also had this idea reinforced about what it was to be black. So I was other to both groups. I wasn't. I was too
white
to be black, and
too black to be white. Man.
Yeah.
So like you just didn't fit in with anybody, basically in high school, just like kind of like an outsider.
I didn't naturally fit in with everybody.
Yeah.
Like there was always
some divide.
Yeah.
And so since you've come out to LA, and you know, because you're in stand-up now, and you're an actor, and since you've been doing that, have you experienced any other, like, is it different in LA?
It's much different. Because
LA likes to preach that it's this like really progressive place.
And honestly, it is.
Okay.
Like, it's much more woke.
Do you like that word?
No. No, because it has so many connotations, but in this case it works.
Sure.
Do you like that word?
No.
I
mean, I don't know, but I also don't know what other word to use in its place.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either.
It's a good word, but I maybe it's just I don't like that it's like being used by white people. Yeah. It's cringy when it gets said by white people, but whatever. It's more forward thinking.
More forward thinking and
inclusive.
Just straight up more diverse.
Yeah.
So there's very few people here who haven't seen a black person.
Yeah.
Man, when I drove to LA though, I had to drive through Wyoming, and we had to stay the night in this little hotel in this town in Wyoming, and I was like, oh, for a lot of people, they're probably seeing their first black person. With me coming through this small town, and they've only ever seen black people on TV, it's palpable. Seriously, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Being in the boondocks, in the boonies of any state.
Sure.
It's like, oh, weird. I'm the only black person in town.
Yeah.
And that's a weird feeling that you can feel. But.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's just that feels like just being an outsider when you're in a hole. Like being not the thing that's the majority.
Yeah.
So like I had this thing where I got lost in LA. I don't know how, but I got lost. I went off a road. Not like I swerved off a road, but I took an exit, and then I ended up in, I think it was Koreatown or Chinatown, but it was like all Koreans.
Okay.
It was all Koreans, and I was the only white guy, and I was going through a Ralph's, and it was all Koreans. The cashier, all the customers, everybody.
Yeah.
And I was getting looks. And it was funny because I was just like walking around, and I was like, people were like looking at me, and I was like, this feels weird. I was like,
welcome to my whole life.
Yeah. I experienced it for 10 minutes.
Yeah. That is most of my life.
So now you're a comedian and an actor.
I'm a comedian and an actor, yeah.
And now it's like, it's just better because now you get to be who you actually are.
Yeah. I mean, I now have a platform and a sense of identity in order to, those things I don't question, or I don't have any doubt about who I am anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the advantage of growing up.
Yeah.
is just knowing who you are, and I can be whoever the fuck I want to be,
Totally.
and nobody can tell me that I need to be a certain anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of how I look.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Anyways, dude, there's this great soul food place across the street. Do you want to go to it really quick?
Hey, yeah, for sure, man. That sounds great. Thanks for bringing it up.
All right. You wanna go?
Yeah.
Not to the actual soul food place. Not to the soul food place. But I just want to put some Splenda in this.
I need something to go in this because it's way too hot.
All right.